Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're working on the Focus. We're doing something that, it seems pretty easy, but honestly it's something that a few people might not know how to do, so I'm going to show you how to save some money today. We're going to put a new battery in the car. It's pretty straightforward, but there is one little tricky thing about doing this that I'll show you. I have an aftermarket air filter and stuff, so it's going to be a bit easier in my car to do. So we'll jump in, take a look at that, and show you guys how to do this in a really quick video. All right, so on the Focus, the battery box is actually going to be right here. Like I said, I've got an aftermarket air intake set up. Most vehicles you'll probably run into, there's going to be a big box here that the air filter sits inside of. I don't have that because, like I said, I put a cold air intake on, so this is a lot easier for me. There is a cover on here, and you just kind of pry up there's little tabs that hold it on. You pry it up, slide that out of place, and then there is your battery. On the battery, there's another little bracket across the top here that holds it into place so it doesn't wiggle around. It's like 10mm bolts, it looks like. So we're going to pop that off, get that out of the way, and then we're going to disconnect the positive battery here, and then the negative one's down in the back here. And then, like I said, right up front, this is the positive battery cable we'll disconnect, and then right back here is the negative, and I can already see kind of an issue that I've got. There's some corrosion on there. When we get that out, we'll take a closer look at that, and we'll do some stuff on there to clean that up and prevent that, show you a way to some tools to use that you can use to get that cleaned up and kind of prevent that in the future here as well. And then the first thing we're going to do is just take a little ratchet, or you can use a wrench. We're going to disconnect this positive battery post here. Just loosen the nut there on top, and then that's going to allow you to get it off, slide off the side. Then I'm going to get back here and do the exact same thing with the negative post in the back here. So that way I don't have to worry about accidentally hitting anything with the ratchet or anything, causing any sparks or arcs or anything like that. All right, so now those are both loose. Now we can take off these nuts right here, get this out of the way, and then onto the trick to get this out. And then this one back here was a little bit tricky to get to on this bracket, so I'm just using a ratcheting 10mm wrench to get that one off. Super useful wrenches if you don't have some. I'll definitely have a link down below. You can check them out. I would definitely recommend a set of these though. And then you'll want to be careful here. This is the battery post, so if you're using your ratchet, you could hit that, and because you're touching the metal that's mounted to the car, it could cause it to arc. So just either be super careful, use some gloves, kind of keep between that and the ratchet, or maybe even come off this way if you have enough room to stay away from the battery post there. And then once both those nuts are off, this bracket just comes off just like that. Set that aside. And now the battery's in there loose, and this is where it gets tricky. Like, you can't just grab this battery and get it out now because there's just not enough room. The battery's too big, it won't fit through here, and that's kind of where this next little trick comes up. On the front here, this front panel can detach from the side. So we gotta detach this. We gotta like lift it up. You can see it'll kind of detach right there. If you saw that, it just sits down, you pull up, and then just slide out the side. The same thing on the other side. Or out, it gives you this ability to move this forward. So now, even if you have the stock airbox there, this still pulls forward enough that you can now get this battery out. So now, it's a matter of pulling that out. I am, just for ease of doing this, I'm gonna remove my air filter really quick and just pull that whole thing off, so. And now I can pull the battery out a little bit further, and now you can really see that corrosion there on that battery post. And it's actually like, I've got it loosened and it's on there really good. So I'm gonna have to probably clean off some of this corrosion with a wire brush really quick and see if I can't get that to pop off of there. Otherwise I may have to disconnect this wire over here, unplug that little plug right there so I can pull it out, and then get it off outside of the car. So this is something you may run into. And honestly, this may be the reason I've been having battery issues, not necessarily just a bad battery. But we'll get it pulled out, cleaned up, get a new one put in. And this one's been here for, I don't know, probably since 2016. I'm gonna put in a new one and go from there. And I'm sure you guys, just like me, get into doing a project you think is gonna be easy, and then something crazy happens, like battery terminals are corroded. feel free to share with me some of the things you've run into that have just been like, what the heck happened? And instead of taking maybe 5 minutes, took you like a day or weeks. Like, I've got stories about my Corvette. And then to get mine out, I am gonna have to go ahead and remove this cable here. It's just one of the body grounds. And then there's that cable on the side here, just a plug that unplugs. I'm gonna have to unplug that for the ground going to the computer, where the heck it goes. Because I cannot get that terminal off in the car. So this is just a 12 millimeter or a 13 millimeter right here. So we'll just get that out really quick. And then, so we'll take that plug out, get the battery out, and then get that terminal off there. And holy smokes, is this thing corroded. This has definitely been an issue with my electrical stuff in the car. Not really electrical stuff, just low battery voltage. But look at that corrosion there, guys. That should not be like that at all. That thing is super duper corroded, not in good shape at all. So we really need to get that off and get that cleaned up. So this will be exciting. Yeah, I'm betting whoever had this car before me maybe thought the battery was dead or something too, because this thing is in bad shape. That is corrosion. Look at all that down in there. We're gonna spray that out with the air hose when we get this all out of here and disconnected. Like I said, right now I've just got to be able to get this. I moved this around so it's just sitting on the side right there on top of the circuit breaker box. This cable's only so long, you don't want to break those wires or anything. I can't quite get this plug out. I don't know if you can see, but it's just turned just enough that it won't slide past there. So I do have to get this loosened while on there really quick. And then I do just have like some of these wire brushes. I've got some plastic brushes and things like that. So that's what I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna go through and start really cleaning off this terminal here to try to get some of that corrosion off, to see if it makes it a little bit easier to remove. And then you guys remember I took my air filter and stuff off, so I did use a shop rag just to plug up this air inlet tube here that leads to my turbo, so I don't get any contaminants and stuff up in there. And then I'll remove that after I blow everything out and get the engine bay cleaned out again here. But I've removed tons of corrosion so far, and now I'm gonna get like a little pick or maybe a tiny little screwdriver or something and try to spread the terminal connector on the top there apart a little bit so I can get it off. Use a pick. I'm just gonna use that right in here and kind of get some of that corrosion out between where that terminal squeezes down. There's like a slit in the middle of it, and the screw tightens down and squeezes it together. So I'm gonna use this pick, clean out some of that corrosion, and then I'm just gonna use a punch. I'm gonna kind of put it there after I get that cleaned out and kind of punch it in there to help spread that out a little bit, because it's in pretty rough shape. This is pretty bad corrosion on there. All right, so I was able to get that cleaned out. You can even see there's some of maybe the corrosion on the tip there. And then all I did is, like I said, I took this punch and I wedged it here between the actual battery terminal and the crimp terminal on here, put it down here, and I just pried it, and that spread that apart. It popped open for me. So now I can actually get in here and get this battery terminal off. So I had heard that this tends to be a problem on these cars, so I was kind of prepared. I kind of knew what I was going to be getting into. So I made sure I had the right tools, and then I'm going to use some cleaners and things here in just a moment and show you some of the products I'm going to use to clean this up and hopefully prevent this from happening on the new battery. But I just want to get here and show you guys like how bad that is. That should not have any of that greenish white stuff on there. It should be bare metal. And this thing is just, it's in rough shape. And like I said, you can see all this residue is from the corrosion of me just trying to get that terminal off there. So now we're gonna get that all cleaned up, make it look good as new, and then when we put it back together, we're gonna use some corrosion preventative spray on there to make sure this doesn't happen again. All right, so now I've gone through, I've blown out all the corrosion, I wiped everything down to get rid of all the remaining like residue and stuff, and we're gonna go clean that terminal up really quick and then get ready to put everything back together. All right, like I said, I got new battery we're gonna be putting in the Napa Legend Premium. Just in my area, this was the best value battery available between O'Reilly's, Napa, Advanced, that stuff. Currently about $170 or so. So I did go with that. Purchased brand new, picked it up today. The manufacturer date on the top here is 11/21. Even so, you can see I've got it on a battery charger. Right now it's at 90% capacity. It's charging. When I first put it on, it was only 60%, even though it's new. If you don't have yourself a little battery charger maintainer, be sure to pick one up. Those aren't very expensive. You can get those at any auto parts store, you can get them through Amazon, all kinds of stuff. But even on a brand new battery, put it on a charger, let it charge before you install it. Just another little piece of advice for you. It's going to make this battery last a lot longer and make this work out a lot better for you. All right, so I'm going to start disassembling this to get all the pieces off. So I'm going to finish taking this nut off the front here. So I'm going to get some gloves on here, start taking it apart, and then I am using just this battery cleaner. These terminals are copper, and you know, over time these copper terminals will corrode. It's just something that happens. This one being on the negative side of the battery, it's possible that the battery isn't being charged quite enough, which kind of promoted the corrosion as well. But who knows, we'll get it cleaned up and get everything assembled back together here shortly. And then I'm just going to use this brush and see if, so we're just going to clean it with that sensor on there. I'm just going to take this brush, scrape off as much of this as I can really quick, get it down as close to the copper as I can. After that, I'm going to use some of this cleaner, and I'll spray it on there, and we're going to get all of this nice and cleaned up. You could buy a new battery cable as well. I believe it's about $80 through Ford for this replacement piece, but this one doesn't look to be in too bad a shape yet. You know, and then, as I mentioned in one of my last videos, I grew up working on cars with my dad, but we didn't have a lot of money. So my dad did all of his own work on vehicles and stuff. We never took cars to the shop, and that's really how I learned to do a lot of work on vehicles, is just growing up in that type of environment, and I learned to love cars. And my passion for working on vehicles definitely comes from my father. I appreciate all the time he spent with me when I was growing up, teaching me things about cars and stuff. But like some of this stuff, I mean, I could buy a new cable for $80. I mean, I've spent money on stupid stuff before, but honestly, this cable's in good shape. Like, there's literally, like, you can look at it now. I'm just kind of giving it some final details compared to where it started at. If this was in really bad shape, I would go ahead and replace it. But honestly, I have the tools and the know-how on how to fix this, and it's not hard. This is a super easy thing. It's super common on batteries to get corrosion. So, you know, growing up, it's one of those things that my dad would do and taught me in time, is, you know, how to do battery maintenance. And that's what this is, just battery maintenance. No sense buying an $80 battery cable when you can just fix it yourself. And then as we start getting down towards the bare copper, I'm spraying that cleaner on there. It does interact with the corrosion on there and start eating away at it, so it comes off easier. So we'll be tossing this thing back in here momentarily. Again, my passion for this comes directly because my dad would work on his own vehicles, and now I love working on vehicles. I could take it to the shop if I want, but I'd much rather do this stuff at home. How about you guys that are car guys? Why are you guys into cars? Let me know down below. Let's find out why we all like doing what we do, which is working on cars for the most part. Some of you are probably just here because you want to save money, but some of you guys are probably car guys or girls. And just in case you're wondering how this cable works, so you'll see this is the assembly. It's kind of a wedge on this part here. It's going to come up on the bottom side of the copper terminal there, and there's these little grooves in the side there. So these are going to sit up there in those grooves, and then as you put the nut on and tighten it down, it clamps it together because it's pulling up against that wedge thing and tightening this down. That's how that clamps onto the battery in there. But we're about all done here, getting ready to start putting everything back in. I am going to go ahead and just put this assembly on while it's outside of the car. You can see I'll have enough room here to plug that other ground harness in now, because the way this battery is designed, I got plenty of room there. I'm going to be using this battery terminal protection spray. on here to spray it around to help prevent that corrosion. Something else you could do, I'm not gonna be putting it on here, is you can use these coated felt pads to put under the terminals to help with that corrosion as well. All right, so now we've tightened down that 10 millimeter bolt there on top. It's cinched that together. So now it's held onto there nice and tight. And like I said, I'm just gonna coat this pretty liberally with this spray, but you just wanna give that a nice good coating. So that way it'll help prevent that buildup from forming. It won't 100% prevent it, but it's definitely gonna inhibit it. And then this is gonna be honestly just the reverse order. I still got this front kind of pulled off to the side. So we're gonna be able to slide that battery right in there. Here's that other cable that connects to that ground. And then this plus that one on the battery, there's like a little slot just on the back right here they run through to keep them out of the way. And then that ground for the body connects right there. And then we'll put the positive on, put the negative on, put the bracket back on, and just assemble everything. And there it is, guys. That's how you install a car battery in a 2016 Focus ST. It's probably the same 2013 to 2018. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same setup there. Have any comments? Leave them down below. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I definitely appreciate the support. Check out the links I leave below for any of the tools I used today. And then, until next time.